Hey you guys, I'm Brian Paul, and it's time for some more PlayStation VR breaking news. After Sony was oddly silent during the PSVR 4-year anniversary yesterday, today we got a massive sale in the store featuring a ton of PlayStation VR games. So let's go through these one by one as fast as possible. Remember though that these are the titles on sale in North America, and the games on sale will vary from region to region.
Hello?
18 Floors launched with only 2 levels, and 2 more came to most regions eventually as free DLC. The quality is all over the place, but for $6, it's not a bad escape room. Just don't expect the other 14 floors to ever materialize.
She's alive.
I'll give you one more chance to kneel before me.
Blasters of the Universe is an awesome bullet hell wave shooter. The big draw is being able to mix and match weapon parts to create new and interesting types of guns. It's short, but challenging and fun.
You weak fool! You are no match for my children!
You're finally awake. I'm sure you'll be fine here.
Blind starts off really promising and does a great job of making you feel helpless as you feel your way around the creepy mansion. Unfortunately, the puzzles and the premise lose their appeal quickly, and Blind evolves into a pretty boring adventure.
What is it?
It'll help you find your way until you get your sight back.
You're alive?
The PSVR portion of Concrete Genie is a pretty bare-bones coloring book. It's beautiful, but unless you're also planning on playing the flat-screen game, you should probably skip this one.
To paint this whole town back to life.
Darknet isn't a bad puzzle game, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm just playing Minesweeper in VR, and the VR element is underwhelming at best. I've got a weird fascination with Don't Knock Twice. It's got a ton of bugs, clocks in at only 2 or maybe 3 hours at the absolute most, but it's also pretty scary and will make you jump a lot. Plus the sale price of $8 is very reasonable. Down the Rabbit Hole is all over the place. Most of the puzzles are simple and enjoyable, while others are drawn out and frustrating. But it's got a fantastic art style, and $12 is right around the price I'd recommend picking this one up at, if it seems like your kind of game. Everything about Drone Striker reminds me of a late 90s Midway arcade light gun shooter. It's really straightforward, but it's also really fun and challenging, and yet another reason to use your aim controller. Featuring optional 2-player co-op, Evasion is generally thought of as a glorified wave shooter. The story is minimal and environments don't change much, but if you've got a friend to blast through the campaign with, there are far worse games to play with your aim controller.
In the unlikely event that hostilities arise, your team have been equipped with the latest in custom armament.
I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night.
Considering it's technically just a collection of minigames, Five Nights at Freddy's won't be for everyone. But it's absolutely terrifying and perfect if you've got friends over this Halloween. Make sure you grab the bundle though, which includes the Curse of the Dreadbear DLC, to get the full experience.
Tend to wander a bit.
Class 3 storm blew in out of nowhere and...
Freediver is a short, 2-hour underwater adventure that has you attempting to escape from a capsized ship. It's frantic and stressful, but also really well done. It felt a little expensive at full price, but at $9, it's hard to go wrong. I loved Gungrave back on PS2, but whoever developed this VR embarrassment obviously didn't share my love, as they took everything fun about Gungrave, stripped it out, and replaced it with boring, monotonous gameplay. Skip this one and the standalone DLC Gungrave UN, which is practically identical. I'm not sure when making food for customers became its own video game genre, but I'm Hungry actually does the genre justice. Just be warned that despite the great visuals, it's blurry as hell, and takes forever to unlock the later levels. Still, not bad for the price. Intruders Hide and Seek is a fun, short-lived stealth game where you play as a 10-year-old boy and try to rescue your family from 3 invaders. The story takes an awesome dark turn, so despite some low-budget character models and voice acting, this one is definitely worth picking up.
Shall we?
Fans of Punch-Out on the NES will feel right at home with Knockout League. It's less about pummeling your opponents, and more about learning their patterns, dodging, waiting for an opening, and then pummeling your opponents. Be warned that it can be frustrating, but ultimately satisfying. Make sure to grab the Heavy Bag DLC while you're at it. You're all gonna hate me for saying this, but Paper Dolls is an awesome 8-hour horror game. Unfortunately, it's marred by 2 really terrible problems. First, the controls are absolute garbage and take hours to get used to. And second, it's just way too dark. Still, for $5, if you're really patient, there's a decent horror game here. Purehead Arcade throws you into a big midway arcade with tons of games to play and lets you run wild. There's a great variety of games to play, and even better are the prizes you can win with your tickets. The only thing missing here is online multiplayer, because this place feels really, really lonely by yourself. As the name suggests, Ski Jumping Pro has you competing in ski jump competition after ski jump competition. There's not a lot here, and you can get first place and unlock most items in under 90 minutes. It's fine, but very forgettable.
And there's a sneaky shot from Dee Dee just off the mark.
Great team pass. Shadow Pup Shield keeps him alive.
Here comes a grenade.
Affectionately referred to as dodgeball guns here at Without Parole, Smashbox Arena is an awesome multiplayer arena shooter. Sure, there's literally no one ever playing online, but pick it up for $4 and then join our Discord. We'll make sure to get a game going one of these days.
And Lucky finds a giant boulder takedown to level the score.
Nope, just no. No, also no. Definitely not. Sin Studio gets a lot of crap for their older games, especially from us, but the biggest problem that the Perfect Sniper had was how overpriced it was for a budget title. $15 at launch was totally unacceptable, but for $5, playing through this 90-minute shooter with your aim can actually be kind of fun. The Walker is the Brookhaven experiment, minus a lot of the fun and excitement. That being said, some of the environments in this wave shooter are actually pretty nice, and the overall tone is dark and disturbing. At this point, I wouldn't recommend you pay any more than $3 for the Walker, but at $3, it's not bad. Thumper is one of those rare, super polished, extremely underrated games we were blessed with at the PlayStation VR launch. It's a rhythm game, but it's unlike any rhythm game I've ever played, and at $6, it's a must-have game. There's so much to hate about Unearthing Mars, but at $5, it's actually not the worst game ever. There's a lot of variety and some puzzle solving, it just never gets terribly exciting or very interesting. The developers must have heard me when I just said that the original wasn't terribly exciting or interesting, because they went back to the drawing board with Unearthing Mars 2 and made it a first-person shooter. Sure, it relies on teleportation, quick-time events, and it's way too easy, but it's got aim support, so if you're hurting for a decent shooter, you might want to check it out. A pretty below-average puzzle game that doesn't benefit from VR at all, Waddle Home is an easy game to skip. Sadly, even with its big open maps and aim support, Warzone simply isn't worth playing at any price. The multiplayer was stripped out completely, and the single-player mode suffers from horrendous spawn points and cheap AI. Much like the Walker, Wraith is only worth playing as a curiosity. It desperately wants to be Brookhaven, but instead, it's boring and repetitive. Wraith's one saving grace is the real-time store that requires you to buy new weapons and ammo on the fly, which certainly adds to the tension. Alright you guys, it's all the breaking news I have for you today, but make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest PlayStation VR reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, and of course breaking news. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.